What did they call Batman when he was little? Lil Wayne. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel today for this Comic Book Editions video. Recently, I had the chance to purchase some Batman and the Outsiders back issues, and I want to share those with you today. Let's get started now. The first one up is Batman and the Outsiders Volume 1, issue number 20, published in 1985. The Truth About Halo, Part 2. It was in Batman and the Outsiders number 16 that the Truth About Halo Part 1 took place. So I find it interesting that they didn't consecutively do this storyline. They took some issues in between. If I'm remembering correctly, I think Halo was separated from the rest of the Outsiders during her adventures. So maybe the in-between issues were showing us what other adventures the Outsiders were up to while this was going on with Halo. Halo's always been a favorite character of mine, although in retrospect, I don't really remember a whole lot about the character specifically or her powers. I think I just liked the way she was drawn. Maybe a little bit of that rainbow streak in her hair too helped. Great cover though, Jim Aparo did this. We also have some nice floating heads of Batman and the Outsiders, and I especially enjoy the reaction of Metamorpho and Black Lightning on their floating heads. I like this cover so much I ended up using it as the thumbnail for this video. Up next, we have issue number 21. So in here, we have 3 different solo stories about Outsiders. We have a Black Lightning story, a Geo-Force story, and a Katana story. The Katana story I thought was really creative in terms of it's almost set to the calling of a high school football game. So someone's listening to a high school football game being called on the radio, and the events of what the announcer is talking about to the football game sink in with exactly what Katana is going through at that moment. Very creatively done. I think it's also a little bit tough when you're going to do an issue and put 3 solo stories that all have to wrap up within the issue and still make sure that each story has enough meat to it. The Katana story was the best out of the 3. The other 2 stories, quite honestly, were a little bit forgettable. It happens sometimes. I've been a Batman and the Outsiders fan since their debut in Brave and the Bold, issue number 200. And I have that, and then I collected their solo series. As an original childhood collector, I had issues 1 through 19. Then I think I also had issue number 29. The Batman and the Outsiders series lasted until issue number 32. So getting a full run of these isn't going to be that difficult. Plus, these are very affordable books. You can find these in some of the dollar bins or $2 or $3 bins. Not expensive books at all, and they're easy to find in nicer condition, nicer shape as well. The one I'm showing you right now is Batman and the Outsiders, issue number 22, and this is The Truth About Halo, Part 3. So as I said, we had a 1-issue break in between Part 2 and Part 3. Just seems a little odd to me to put that break in there. It wasn't that the creative team had changed or the creative team needed a month off to get caught up, so they brought someone else in. It wasn't that at all. It's still the same creative team. So just an interesting way to tell the story, to spread it out like that, I guess. I decided at probably about a year ago that Batman and the Outsiders was a title that I wanted to finish up. Since it only went to issue number 32, it wasn't going to be that hard to get the leftover books that I needed for finishing up the run. Then, of course, I haven't finished the run yet, but when I do, I'll then work on finishing up some of the Adventures of the Outsiders series, which didn't last too long. It continued the numbering after Batman and the Outsiders issue 32, Adventures of the Outsiders. The series without Batman featured started with issue 33. The Truth About Halo Part 4 in issue number 23, another good Halo-centric cover there. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, this one wraps up the Truth About Halo storyline. Colorful cover. You've heard me say many times on Comic Book Editions how I like colorful covers. And, this copper age of comics certainly has their fair share of them, and so does this title. So issue number 24 is one that I don't have in my collection yet, but I do have issue number 25. Halo must have been a favorite character of the creative team as well, because she's featured pretty prominently on a lot of these covers. I haven't had the chance to read this issue yet, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. In addition to the books that I'm showing you today, I've also bought some Batman and the Outsiders back issues to help fill in this run and just have them in a whole pile that I haven't had shipped out yet. So probably later on this year, maybe in the fall, you'll see some more, probably another sequel to this video, another Batman and the Outsiders haul video with what I've added in. And as a matter of fact, as of right now, I think there's only one issue of Batman and the Outsiders that I actually need for issue number 1 through 32. And then for the Adventures of the Outsiders, probably 4 or 5 issues that I need right at the end to be able to get the run filled in. We're jumping up to issue number 29. By this time, Halo has cut her hair, but a fantastic underwater cover here with the team. So this issue, and if you are not a diehard comic book fan or don't understand Crisis on Infinite Earths, you're going to be totally confused by what I say now. This issue is one that was this was set during the really short period of time where the pre-crisis Batman of Earth 1 existed on the post-crisis New Earth. So the other characters in this issue are the post-crisis New Earth versions of the Outsiders, but Batman is still the pre-crisis Earth 1 version. I know that even makes sense trying to explain it out, and I know what I'm talking about. But there was a very brief period in time with some of the major DC characters where that happened in. And this issue is one in particular where it relates to Batman. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But that brings us to the end of this Comic Book Editions video today. I know it's a rather short one. We have featured Batman and the Outsiders on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, and I want to feature them again sometime this year for sure. That's going to be a pick for me coming up at some point as well. So be looking for that in the future. Don't forget my back issue of the week YouTube short that I dropped yesterday, and Fanboys Live in the Retro Review comes up this weekend. Are you a Batman and the Outsiders collector? If you are, let me know. Do you have any of the issues that I showed today? Or what's your favorite issue or favorite character of Batman and the Outsiders? We can dialogue about all of that and more in the comment section below. Your comments are always welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. So Comic Book Editions, our next volume, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you then. Until, have a great week. Take care.